from? Where you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing. Where do you come from? Where you going? What are you feeling tonight? And what are you showing? Where do you come from? 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 Where you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing.
What's up, everybody? This is the Download, episode 2. We're getting into it. Everything in gaming that happened this week. We're live from Cyborg City, joined by some of our citizens in the Discord. Coming at you live, we got Callie Drew Voss. What's been going on, Callie? What have you been gaming on this week? Give people a short little synopsis.
Oh, just playing some Kingdom Hearts finals and some amazing Lethal Company.
Awesome. Be sure to check out Callie on his YouTube page as well. What's going on, chat? Everybody, we got Simply Pwned Gaming, Ray, Neil J, and Miss Phoenix. Thanks for coming on by. We appreciate you hanging out. DW, otherwise known as Blaze V Pimpson. What's been going on? What have you been gaming on this week?
Oh, not a lot. Wait, you know what I've been gaming on, bro? You've been watching me avidly. I've been playing Sekiro. And trying to make my way through it. It's a brutal game, isn't it? But definitely, I think that one of my favorite From Software games that there is.
I was going to ask
I can give you that.
But
yeah, the mental state after that game can be a little harsh, but beating those bosses, you'll never find a higher high. It's quite the experience.
Higher, you're right there, but also you've all heard me lose my
some
my
low
rag a little
lows.
bit in
Is
this.
that what we're saying?
Yeah, you've all witnessed it the past week, getting a little frustrated with you while I'm doing my game, and haven't you? You're all like, "Oh, is it a bit of a struggle there, Wilson?" And I'm just like, "Oh, would you just?"
Your controller. Hey, listen, your controller is intact. You're a better man than I.
For now, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I haven't gotten to what's the bad one again, Rue? You keep talking about it. Demon of Hatred. I haven't gotten to Demon of Hatred yet.
You still have the apes to fight. Yeah.
Oh goodness.
What's going on, Nads? Thanks for stopping on by. What have you been gaming on this week?
Well, I've been gaming a little bit of everything, but mainly Palworld, as you have the screen about this.
Yeah. All the excitement. We're going to get into it as our first topic here.
Yes. I've been playing that. We played some Baldur's Gate 3 yesterday. That was funny and a lot of fun. Love this game. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think, so far.
Well, Nads, you put the work in where it counts. Lae'zel and you are going to...
Oh my god, you closed on Lae'zel so fast.
I know, it's crazy. I didn't expect that. I thought now I can move on to the next character, I guess, right?
Wow. Wow.
That's brilliant.
You know these are real relationships.
Oh, yeah.
Just so you know, Nads, I'll give you a heads up. Karlach is the next easiest one. All she needs is something physical, bro. That's all she needs.
I sense a druid in your future named Halson.
Most definitely.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you can leave Karlach to me. We're both tieflings, so let me get that tiefling vibe in. Me and Scratch have cuddled enough. SPG, what's been going on? What have you been up to in the gaming world?
Oh, man. Playing all kinds of things, but I jumped back into Red Dead Redemption 2. That game, it keeps pulling me back in, man. The all of it, the environments, the immersion, harassing NPCs, it's all there, man. That's what I've been doing.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and also guiding us on Baldur's Gate 3, so we do appreciate you and Big John. Although I didn't appreciate you ritual killing somebody in front of me who I was trying to hit
Yeah.
on. But
Yeah, hey,
yeah,
hey, David, I had to convince the paladin not to kill the Dark Urge.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
killed
wow.
Alkira, but I gave him my cloak though. I gave him that cloak, just in case he has to do away with me.
Well, technically, I
Oh, wow.
don't know all about it. So I was sleeping, so I don't really know what happened. I just
Okay,
trust you
all
at
right. We're
first.
giving excuses now. I understand. I understand.
Well,
He was busy
after
with
the murder,
Lae'zel that night.
yeah, I'm busy with Lae'zel. Like, yeah, after the murder, like Lae'zel
That
came and
oath.
picked me up.
It was so funny,
That
David. It
oath.
was like, "Do you want to hide the body?" I was like, "No, they can see my handiwork. It's right here."
Yeah. Yeah.
Your
And now
oath is
there's
not
just
surviving that game, Nads. It isn't.
Ray, the gaming cyborg. What's been
Yo,
going on? What have
yo.
you been gaming on this week?
Oh man! First of all, thank you for streaming in Cyborg Central. Thank you so much. And I've been BG3 with SPG in the gang, Lethal Company with Cali. Awesome, having a good time dying in that game, and then playing also some what Red Dead Redemption Online with Jeff and his crew, and then a lot and lots and lots of Marble Snap. That's what I've been up to.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thanks for sharing, everybody. And this is the download. We are going to be getting into everything huge that happened in gaming this week. And what other huge news than the biggest thing to happen in gaming for a while, breaking records on Steam. That is the Pokemon with Gun, aka Palworld. Just absolutely crushing the charts. 24-hour peak, went over 2 million. It's amazing to see this attraction for gaming, but honestly, I can't understand. I'm trying to say, am I even a gamer anymore? Has the definition of gamer moved away from me? People are just latching on to this at like gangbusters. Now we have Nads in the chat who's actually had some experience in the game. Are you level 50 yet? Have you
No,
peaked out?
I'm like 42. It's like take a while at the end. I'm level 42 now. I've captured, I will say, 80% of all the PAL. I've explored. I need to explore more. I barely touched the map, I feel like. But yeah, it's the amazing. The game is more in depth than I had thought. Like I was looking at the breeding, and someone came out with like a chart online to how to breed certain. Because I thought like in Pokemon, you just take two of the same, put it in the pen, and they breed. But actually, you can take two different PAL and breed them and get a different PAL. And then there's this like calculation system. There's this guy online that made a chart. You can check which PAL you want to breed, and it's gonna give you a different PAL. It's pretty interesting. So you can get a lot of new PALs like this. And the other thing, funny enough, I saw someone did that yesterday, and I was like, I need to give it a try. I captured my first human yesterday.
No,
can-
you can
yeah, you
capture a
can
human?
yeah.
What?
So, and you can
Okay.
do human trafficking.
No.
Yes.
No. Did
No,
anyone
that's
think this was a
insane.
thing in the
To
game?
merchant.
In a
What's
little,
up?
you can in one of the Pokeballs.
Yes.
Sorry, whatever they're called in the game.
Yes,
But
yes. I
that-
capture human, and he's working on my base now.
oh, what?
So yeah, and
Nice.
you can capture more human and sell them to the merchant too. So that's where the human trafficking is. I think it might be a a fix that they need to do. But the funny thing is that when you capture them, they show some stats too. They have stats. The only thing that you don't have is gender, so you cannot breed them. But I had to have a look for myself. They're not
You
very
can't
useful.
breed them. Well, I like how you
No.
put it like that, Nads. You can't breed them.
Yeah,
Nope.
exactly.
You put them in a
No.
pen and they just look at each other. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Now.
God.
Uh,
They're
but
people.
it's pretty fucked, but yeah, pretty interesting. You can do that. I never thought to
Wait,
try it until I saw it
Nads,
online. What?
did you try to combine a person with a pal?
No, I was thinking to try
Oh
that.
my
Oh
god.
my
No.
god. Cross species. Nads is over there creating some evil pal stuff, some
Yeah, who
freaks.
knows what can come out of that, right? But I don't think it's. I haven't tried it yet, but I don't think it's gonna work because they don't have any sex. So, which is
Ah.
weird, but anyway. Um, yeah, so I had to try it because I saw it online. Someone did a playthrough where you capture all humans, like even in the city, not the city, but in the village there, you can capture them and just have those as instead of pals, right? So you can, I guess like, it might be an achievement to do a playthrough with only humans instead of capturing pals, but
What?
Well, that is
That's
interesting. I did not realize. Yes, that is bestiality, what Nads is trying to do here in Palworld. Maybe that's why they don't have it. I guess the big mystery is, will they sustain their player count? Do you see Palworld really staying on? Much like we saw in the finals, once people had finished the battle pass, they kind of had left the population. Are we going to see the same thing from Palworld? Any thoughts on the panel? How long do we think we'll see this population stay in the millions?
I think the main thing to keep the attraction is that first of all they need to finish the game. There's still a lot of bugs. You can see they put a lot of work on every pal, like the way they look, the way they react, and stuff like that. But I still found sometimes they're a little bit glitchy. Like you have them work on base, and then they like kind of get stuck and die because they're hungry or something like that.
Or not
There's
even
still
just die, they just won't do their job properly, right? They'll be assigned to a
yeah.
job. I realized this in my first few hours of play, and I've not played since day one, but they will be you'll assign them to a job, or they'll have certain jobs that they'll naturally auto assign to, but then they'll
Yeah,
just get stuck there, stood staring at the bloody sky. And it says that they're
exactly.
doing a job on your hood, it says they're doing one, but they're not actually doing anything, so you've got to go and do it
Yeah,
yourself. Yeah.
exactly. So they kind of get stuck, and I don't know what's happening. But it happened to me a few times where I go back to the base later, and I had a bunch of them die because they all stuck on the roof of my house where they sleep or something, and they cannot reach the feeding to feed themselves. So it's kind of like funny in that sense. And there's like a few bugs there and there that like need to be fixed. They've been releasing updates though. Like I know on Game Pass so far we had 3 updates in the past week. Like one of the issue they had for the Game Pass version is that you couldn't quit the game. So they fixed that now. So there's a quit button at the title. But yeah, again, they need to fix a lot of their issue. They need to bring it out of early access, and hopefully they can continue by adding more, or maybe um, I don't know if they're gonna add DLC or something like that. It's quite
They
early.
released a Pal World roadmap, I believe, and I can pull that up in the
Yes.
background. And the last thing I'll say on Pal World, which has me thinking, is, do you think this is a standard of game that Xbox Game Pass should have allowed onto their subscription? Because to me, day one Pal World on Xbox Game Pass was absolutely unplayable. It broke, it
Can I
Yeah,
just
corrupted my
clarify?
save.
Is it classed as an early access? Is it, or is this
yes.
Yes.
classed as full V1?
Yeah, they said they're not gonna release it for another year, or like
Okay,
actual
so
release it.
this isn't even technically their full release. So
Exactly.
it's still on Game Pass, but it's not even their technical full version.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I think a whole bunch of kids are playing this game, and they wanted to invite their friends, so their friends had to get the game.
Yeah.
And everyone loves Pokemon. That's huge, and it's a ripoff of that in a sense. Um, I think if you look back on this game in 6 months, you're going to see a much different player count. But if they
Yeah.
snag the young kids that like to game with their friends, they don't care about bugs. They just want to be able to run around in a Pokemon type world and shoot at their friends. So,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know,
I'm gonna say, you know what? It all depends on what the roadmap has and what the DLCs and what we have to store, because if this is just a sample of how big it is right now, and if they can add more to it and build it up, who knows, man? They sometimes these little access games, BG3, can blow up. So we'll see.
And
Yeah.
if it does blow up too, it's hard to predict where it's going to go. Like this, did anyone predict, even the makers of this game, that it was going to blow up to any scale like this? No one did. No
Hell
one predicted this
no.
game to be this big.
Hell
So
no.
because of
Hell no.
that, no one can really predict where it's going to go in the future. It's really hard to tell. Like, has a game ever blown up this big? Ever? Or is this the largest a game's ever reached concurrent players?
No, man,
as fast as it
games
has?
blow up all the time and get
No, I
huge
know
player base,
they
and
do.
then they
but
all
this,
disappeared.
I thought this one broke a bunch of records. I thought like the amount
Oh, it
the
probably
amount
did.
it sold
It just
was.
hit the market, the
was-
right market. That's what it is, right? You look at
This is what I'm saying though. We can't really put it down to just anything. Like it's kind of came out the middle of nowhere. There's a million factors that have just made it
So
hit the
David,
way it
you
has.
played it. Is it warranted? Is the player
Yeah.
base warranted? You played it. What do you think?
No, that's my whole point, okay? The game is not astonishing, but it has an astonishing player base. And there's a million different factors that come into play. It's similar to a well-established IP. It's in a genre of games that's been trending for a while, survival games. There's a lot of things that draw people into it. It's a community game, and everyone's always asking for another multiplayer community game. That's not just us, that's the whole gaming community. But no one could have seen this blow up the way that it did. No one could, no one even thought it was that good of a product. So I just don't think we'll ever be able to predict what even the roadmap will mean for this game.
Let me just throw this out, which you guys don't seem to understand. This game is similar to Pokemon. What did Pokemon do, and how did Pokemon grow? You add more Pokemons and more Pokemons and add more Pokemons. So if they can do this with Pokemon cards and just imagine the characters and the creations that they can just build off of this. So I'm just saying.
I know that
Yeah.
currently, I think Nintendo's investigating because some of the pals look like Pokemon or something.
Oh no!
so-
Well, we could touch on that. David, you
Yeah, okay.
posted Nintendo's official response, and we'll close out Palworld with that. Am I right?
Okay.
And their official
did, yeah.
response was essentially stop bugging us with Palworld.
That's how it came across. That's how it came across very much. It came across that basically we get the point, we see it too, we're looking into it, guys, leave us alone. It very much seemed like the whole, because everyone's
Listen,
blowing up about it.
listen,
Everyone's
all
calling
that
it
happened-
Pokemon.
a whole
Everyone's calling
bunch
it
of
basically
customers-
Pokemon, right?
A whole bunch of customers reached out to the company to prove to them they've left money on the table.
Yeah.
And it is a controversy. There's a lot of people saying that there's no grounds for Pokemon. A lot of people are saying that Pokemon's meshing is similar. There's a lot of different people talking about it, so I'm sure it's going to be a point of contention for a while. I reckon we're going to hear more about it in the upcoming weeks, maybe months. I don't know if we'll see an actual lawsuit, but there's going to be a conclusion to all this, because it isn't just this is a rather large controversy with gaming, isn't it? I mean, it does seem like it could be a big ripoff, potentially.
Well, that's
Yep,
the
the-
thing. One of the big thing is that I think it was a market move to release it so early. Because you look at Sky Climber, it's been like in early access for I don't know how long, and I can compare it the same thing as Palworld. I've been waiting for Sky Climber to come out. And it's the same thing. You capture animal, you can use them to ride them around. It's a survival base. Maybe they have more work done, because I remember they had mentioned that it was supposed to release on Stadia at the time when Stadia was still alive. And it's still yet released. You can only access it.
Yeah,
off
Stadia could have
early.
had another banger. And if Stadia had Palworld and Palworld worked much better in the cloud, they could have got this too. But for another day,
My last
Stadia's
comment
gone.
on the lawsuit, though. Is it
No
could be
lawsuit.
possible it might not.
Speculation of a lawsuit.
The whole challenge, yeah, the whole controversy in general. Who's getting sued by Rockstar right now for a letter? So anything could happen.
Remedy.
Anything
Yeah.
could happen. Like the world is
Listen,
a
let's
crazy
not
place at the minute
pretend-
right now.
Listen. A lot of these companies are very litigious when it comes to their IPs. Let's not pretend anything different. Nintendo is very litigious with their ROMs and other stuff. It just comes down to, do they have a case at all? If they do, they're gonna do some kind of movement on that end, even if it's just to recoup some money on the back end and keep letting it go. Like
Yep.
there's gonna be something done.
Yeah, every company like to sue each other every so often. You see it all the time, like Samsung suing Google.
I mean,
Google suing,
Rockstar.
it's been
Rockstar-
happening. If there's money to be made, like when they're suing another company, they will go for it.
So just as an example, Rockstar Games almost sued one of their own customers because they wanted to mod Red Dead 1 into Red Dead 2, and they went really far. They started to put Mexico in, and they were given a cease and desist. So they do
Oh my
protect their
God.
IPs. Now, I think Rockstar should put both games together and repackage it and sell it as an anniversary edition. And maybe they've thought about it, but they haven't done it. And this guy was going to do it as a mod, and they were like, no, that's money on the table for us. Don't do it.
Oh, that's funny.
Well,
well, Palworld,
speaking of,
it's not a mod, but go ahead.
but you will be able now to play it on your Apple products. So this is a new development. Suspiciously, 1 year after Stadia's shutdown, Apple allows GeForce Now, Xbox Cloud Gaming, no longer to be restricted to web apps. This is huge
Nice.
for people looking for access on their iPads and their Apple devices. Absolutely
This goes
massive.
way deeper for the EU folks as well. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
let's jump into that because you guys were enlightening me before the show.
I do want to make one comment real quick. Fortnite
Yeah, what's up, Callie?
also made a comment on it as well. They said that the world's watching Apple.
Oh, because they have had situations with Apple, right? So what's going to happen
Yeah,
with
that's
the
where all this
Yeah,
transitions?
you're
started.
gonna be able to play Fortnite now through GFN and Xbox.
So listen, that's kind of where this started. Epic took Apple to court and all this stuff, but the EU, what's about to happen is this: your iPhones, your iOS operating systems are locked down. You can go to the App Store and they get a cut off of every app, and there's no way to put an app on the phone other than that. Well, now in the EU, they're going to allow you to sideload, just like you can on Android, anything onto the iOS. Now, they're not doing it for the world. They're doing it for the EU because they got Headbutt put in a logic headlock and was made to allow it. They're not going to let the rest of the world do it, though. Certified Doc is in the chat, and we discussed this yesterday. He should jump in here, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
Yeah, you're very welcome to, Doc, if you've got any opinions on this or if you've got any facts you would like to share to enlighten us, because we're all a little bit ignorant to it. But I would like, if you don't mind, I would like to read just the official statement from Apple's website about it, just to clarify in a little further detail. Apple today announced changes to iOS, Safari, and to the App Store impacting developers' apps in the European Union to comply with the Digital Markets Act. That the changes include more than 600 new APIs, expanded app analytics, functionality for alternative browser engines, and options for processing app payments and distributing iOS apps. Across every change, Apple is introducing new safeguards that reduce but don't eliminate new risks the DMA poses to EU users. With these steps, Apple will continue to deliver the best, most secure experience possible for EU users. That's basically just the technical way of saying what you just said, isn't it, SPG? It's just saying it's expanding to third-party users, to third-party services. Other people will be able to interact with new ways and put their apps on their App Store and use iOS and use
Basically,
Safari browser.
sidestep their store monopoly, pretty much.
Yeah, but they also put the extra specification on top of that it's not going to be as safe as using the things through their store. Which
of
is
course.
it could be seen as scaremongering. Okay, that could just be them saying we prefer you to use our stuff. It's safer to use our stuff, but it also there is a factor at play there. Everyone knows Apple is one of the most secure pre-built systems you
Yeah.
can go on.
Your
If you've
security.
got an
Here's the
Sorry?
problem: your security is as good as the user. At that point.
that's very true. Yeah, that is very true. I mean, an iMac isn't going to protect you from every porn site in the world, to put it very bluntly.
Correct. You want to play in my sandbox? I'm going to play in yours, buddy.
I think it's just a false security you're talking about because people think like Apple is more secure than any other device out there. Uh, it's just like a false security because remember back in the day, oh, only on Microsoft we can get viruses. You couldn't get viruses on any Apple device. Well, things have changed, and really a virus, it's like depending what what's the market out there. There's less people using iMac or Apple device than there's more people using Microsoft or Android device. So there's gonna be more viruses on that sense, and that's all it is, right? Because there is viruses for Apple. There is like hacker that go after this. It's just not
Mhm.
as well known, right?
Yeah,
Or do you think
100%.
they have a way
100% agree with
of
that. 'Cause
masking the sort of slowdown that these hackers provide on Apple just to give you that premium experience and make you feel like
Now
you're
you just
virus free?
you just mentioned
Nah.
slowdown. That is a completely separate issue where they send an update to your iPhone after it's after a new one comes out.
Yeah,
They
just slow
throttle
down.
your CPU,
Hmm.
and it's all because of your battery supposedly. But
Yes.
you could have a 1-year-old iPhone and it could be your speeds could be cut in half just because of an
Yeah.
update they pushed out.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? They're the one hacking their phone. They're the one like putting viruses technically in their phones. So you cannot look at it this way.
Don't you think that Apple should give you because it's your device should give you the option? Do I want to run this full tilt until it burns up, or do I want to save it so I can have it for 5 years? Why don't they give you the choice since it's yours?
Hmm.
But it goes back to leaving money on the table. If they don't funnel everyone into the store, they lose revenue. So that's why it's the way it is. It's not just for security. There is some of that, but it's up to the user. It's just like Windows. I can send you an install, and if you go install it, I could bork your computer. Or you could run that, and if you got security on your system, it'll pop up and say, hey, are you sure you want to run this?
Mhm.
This isn't secure. Like,
Yeah.
but if you know what you're doing, the user, it's not an issue.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
just
Hey, certified dog,
hey,
thanks for
yeah,
joining.
yo,
How's it
hey, listen,
going?
if I had to hop on the Apple train because it's funny. Anyways, well, I was just going back to Windows. It's like because Apple claims that they have like the most secure system, or the reason why it's more secure than most things is because it's such a lockdown like ecosystem where you're very limited in what you're able to do.
Mhm.
Honestly, when it comes to like for example, going back to Windows, as you said, trying to get a virus on Windows nowadays is actually very hard just because of like how much security Windows like Microsoft has put into it.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to Android, same with that. It's like every major phone manufacturer now has a security chip built right into the phone that
Hmm.
basically safeguards the entire phone from any types of virus and hacking systems.
Yep.
Like you can't really get your bank account and stuff like that because it's all safeguarded, right? But Apple doesn't. The reason why Apple makes it seem like they're more secure is because they they showcase other people's products like they're garbage. Like they show stuff from like 5, 6 years ago and act like that's
Mm.
the current day, and most of their users are gonna sit there and look like it. Like, well, I don't use that stuff, so they must be. It's Apple. They have to be
Ye-
telling the truth.
Yeah. It's all a market, right? The way they
Yeah.
perspect it.
It
It's
just
just so funny because it's true, like Windows now, or like even Android, like you say, now they used to do update every 4 months, 6 months. Now every month they have an update. It's usually a security patch because it's something they noticed, right? I remember when someone created, I don't know if it was a virus or something, but people will get like a picture as a text message, and they're like, "Oh, what's that? What you send me?" And they look at it, and it was a virus. Basically, you just click on it, and it downloads automatically. Well, like they came out with a patch, but someone like found there was like, oh, a vulnerability for that. So and then since then they've been coming out with patches every month, so technically more secure now. And yeah, like David say, like it's going back to the user, what the user do at the end of the day. That's where it caused like the security to be lost,
cor-
basically.
yeah, correct. It's like nowadays everything has gotten so advanced that, as I said, getting like messed around with like viruses and stuff hacked. I mean, it's still possible, of course. Like even Apple's current phones, it's possible to get hacked.
Mhm.
It's just down to what you're doing on the phone.
Yeah.
The thing
But
is, though, is that
frankly, the concern now is more macro when it comes to these hacks, when it comes to these takedowns, right? It isn't on the micro, it isn't on the individual user. If you're going to be concerned about anything, you should be concerned about Google themselves or Apple themselves as a whole.
Mhm.
It's not
Or
going to be your
Microsoft.
details.
A
It's not
lot
going
of
to be
these
your PC
corporations.
or Microsoft. Yeah, I'm
Mm.
just naming some names for
Yeah, yeah.
example. But
Well, they all
it's
have
macro.
monopolistic. They all have. I'm making up words probably now, but they all have I can't even say it again. Anyway, they all have that intent. They want to push you into their monopoly, get you into their ecosystem, and then bleed you freaking dry because you're a whale. That's what they hope. That's what all these people hope.
That is another aspect of it. But what I'm saying is it's the macro side that really we should be concerned about is having these data breaches. You're not going to really have a big data breach on your PC from visiting
No.
Pornhub compared to Microsoft, someone hacking them
On
for
their
some type of
server.
version of Anonymous and then leaking your data all over the black market. You know what I mean? We hear about that twice or three times a year from a big company from all these different types of industries.
It,
You don't really worry about the personal scale anymore. It does happen. It does
Yeah.
happen. My brother, about a decade ago, was hacked online, and he lost access to his details, and it was a big thing. We know someone in the community who was stalked online, had similar things happen. But it's more of an issue on a bigger scale, right? It's more
Yeah.
about the corporations that you trust. If you're going to show concern about it at all, you really should be looking on that scale, right?
Mhm. Every time I listen to this podcast, they release every day Cybersecurity Canada, basically. And they talk about pretty much every time I listen to them, they always mention like, oh, this company got hacked and they got the data breach because the company didn't want to update their software, update their server because it's too expensive. But now they have to recoup because now they have to pay all those people for like all the like the money they lost because of data breach, right? So it's happening on a daily basis, and like you said, it's going after the big company. But now we're going
Ooh,
off track a little bit.
what's going on? We got the cowboy jumping into chat. How are you doing this afternoon?
What's
Thanks for
going on?
stopping on by.
My lunch break ended up being
Nice.
Yeah, man.
11:30, and I was like, I know my man Rudigs and Company is streaming at. Let's go, 11 o'clock. So hold on, let me jump in here real quick. Unpopular opinion. I was listening to my guy. Sorry about that, man. I'm just getting into here. I'm about to eat some donuts. But I was listening to my guy, SPG. SPG had this tone in his voice. All they want to do is bleed you dry. SPG, if I had a business, what else do I want to do but bleed my customers dry? You are in this for business to make money. We ain't here to shake hands, hold hands. Oh, no, let me not sell you a service you don't want. You're a grown adult.
No.
If you sign up for that service, you get charged for it.
Hey, listen, it's all about productivity and cash and over. I get it, but guess what?
Right.
It's about your practices. Your practices show what kind of company you truly are. That's what I'm discussing.
No, I do hear that, but I think the cool thing is that's why we have laws, right? So let's say something you're doing mischievous, you could get sued, right? So they should watch their practices, but a lot of these companies know how far they could push it, right? So as a consumer, we just have to know our rights, right? And so if we don't know our rights, then we're going to get taken advantage.
Against monopolies, and none of those are enforced. None of it.
But what you both are talking about is exactly what this law change is all about. It's exactly what Apple are targeting, because people have been pushing for Apple to have third-party access to these different app stores and to these different APIs for a while. People have said that they've had a monopoly on iOS customers for a while. And what this shows is that they're not going to just try and keep hold of that monopoly, or they're willing to have show a bit of leverage, okay? Because in this world, as you say, all these businesses, they aim to make money, but the most sustainable way to do that is by building a trustful relationship with your customer, right? A one where your customer wants to come back to you. They're not going to want to come back to you when they start feeling screwed over. And that's what Apple are trying to show is that there's a trust level there, that people can work with them without having to be in their pocket, without having to always give them
You forced me. I'll be trustful.
let me say this though. I'm not sure I agree with that. So yes, ethically it would be cool if you could trust everything. But if everything was so much on trust and be a good company, you wouldn't even need to have laws that come in because you would just think the consumer would be like, oh, that's an untrustworthy customer or a company, I'm going away. But no, the consumers are purchasing what they want. Now, other companies that feel they're not making money because it's the monopoly, because the other company is so big, they can't make money. But the consumer's like, I want Apple, I want to buy Apple. They don't really care about the other companies not making money. Let's be fair. It's the companies that's stepping in saying, hey, the Apple's getting everything. I can't make any money. But if you make a business, real quick, if you make a business, you're in business to make a profit, right? So like when you go to the store and the people are running around, they're like, oh, it's so busy today. I always say to them, well, don't you want it to be busy, right? Do you want it to be busy? You made a business to be busy so you can make money. So I don't feel too bad because I think it's a cutthroat world. Now, if we build laws that could step in, cool, that's fine. Anything that's legit and legal, I'm all for it. But it's legit and legal for these companies to be as big as they could be until somebody step in and say, hey, you're too big. That's all.
I totally agree with that, but I think part of their growth, especially in the modern day and age where everyone's all social media heavy, everyone's wanting to hold companies accountable, this pretending that there's a trust level, showing some type of goodwill, it's just a marketing tactic. Do you know what I mean? And that's what they're doing. They're walking that fine line of a marketing tactic. They're not doing this because they care about the people who want to do third-party APIs. They're doing this to make it look like they care about people, to keep that PR. Yeah, I totally.
That's also a lie,
I agree with you.
Yeah,
1,000%.
let me
What do you want
give
to say?
the stage to Doc here for a second. He wanted to jump in.
Yeah,
so I was
definitely.
gonna say Apple in their, if you look at their statement, they're not even doing this because they want to look like they care. They basically said they don't care. The only reason they're doing this is literally laid out in there is because they're being forced to do it. They're not doing it out of good. That's if they cared about it, they would have done it around the United, like the rest of the world. They don't care. They literally are the one tech company out of everyone that doesn't want to work with anybody. They don't give a shit about no one. The only reason why the EU is going after them is not because they're destroying other businesses, but it's more around the lines that they're the only one that doesn't want to work with anyone.
Yeah.
It's like if you look at all their services, it's all locked down to their devices. It wouldn't be much of
My
an
point
issue.
is whether it's choice or whether they're being forced to. It's
Oh,
just
they're
about keeping that balance. Yeah, but whether it's they're choosing to do it as a tactic or whether they're being forced to by the world's regulators, it's still just keeping that balance, isn't it?
like
You know
To allow
what
them
kind
to
of
grow
sucks,
in a
though?
healthy way.
You know what kind of sucks? Imagine you build a company and your dream is to be successful. And you get so successful, somebody tell you you can't be that successful. You're like, wait, what? I got into this to get everybody to buy my services. No, you're making too much money and other people aren't making money. So now we got to stop you from making more money. You're like, hold on, wait, what's this? That's crazy.
It's a weird world. It's a weird world.
It's not
Isn't
even.
quite balanced.
I say it's not even more about that because like their competition, like for example, like Samsung, Google, OnePlus, all the other major phone manufacturers, they do perfectly well. In fact, like Apple is mostly dominant in the EU terms of that. They're not as dominant as they are like in the United States and like in Japan. I'm pretty sure Samsung is the top in Japan, right?
So I think what the problem is that it's controlled opposition at that point.
Well,
like, they're controlling the market. So it's not just that they have a really good product, they're selling it and it's better than anyone else's. They're actually controlling the opposition. They're making sure your company doesn't have a fucking shot.
It's like the whole thing with like for example like iMessage, right? iMessage is a lockdown thing to iOS, and the way they integrate it with Android is they still use SMS that came out a long time ago, which is incredibly unsecure. And a company that's all about security still wanting to use SMS is crazy. And all people have been wanting is to have a form of integration, make it work with this and make it like modernized. But Apple doesn't want to do it because they know it's a leverage they can use to basically make Android look like garbage, even though it isn't.
Yeah, but it makes sense, right? It's your competition. You're trying to make money. Why give away your stuff to someone else? What is that about?
But if they're so much about security, why can't they just do it?
Well, because that's called brand recognition, right? That's what people recognize and people brag about, like, oh, well, iPhone, you could do this, right? So that's brand recognition. Like, why give away what people want so bad on my service to my opposition? Why would I do that?
Because they're going against their entire talk about security, because SMS literally compromises a lot of
Yeah,
things.
you're not supposed to control the market or your counterparts that are selling the same stuff. You're not supposed to control the market. You're supposed to enter into the market, and they kind of control it. They steer
And
everyone to
manipulate
their
it.
and I
side.
think that is a challenge because like when you're trying to win, it's hard not to crush everyone along the way as a
Right.
way of winning. And I see
Right.
it from both points because at the same time you want to respect the people that you're providing a service to because you want them to be fruitful and keep coming back to you and actually become better citizens and people for using your services. But I am going to move along. I love the discussion, but I want to switch up the topic. A little bit somber note here. We have Microsoft laying off 10% of their company now that we see with the acquisition coming with the Blizzard and Microsoft AK or Activision deal here. We had some discussions based on this, and we talked about it. We were saying, is it right for a company like this to lay off 10% after a merger? I feel like companies like this, they kind of have a duty. They could have been more efficient. They could have just created and planned for a better game to come out and put people towards that and create a profit model for these workers.
Rudix, the only issue is I think maybe this is all the jobs that they can get rid of since Chat GPT is so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
True.
seeing
Kind of
ChatGPT
joking.
AI
replace
taking
a lot
over.
of people. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about AI generated games earlier and how they're able just to leave them overnight and create, straight models as they're working and creating that.
Yeah,
So
but
here,
if
here,
go
here's
ahead,
what's
Jeff.
starting here, right? Unfortunately, money is a driving factor behind all of these conversations. Let's just be honest. If you do a deal for $69.8 billion and you have so many employees, right? And so eventually you got to make that money back, right? What's a fast track to make some of that money back, right? Is to get rid of payroll. Payroll means people's salaries. So unfortunately, it's business. And so business isn't personal, I guess, unless you're the person who lost your job. Some people lose their jobs and take it on the chin because it's business. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I'm pretty like when you look at all these mergers, that's always what people have been saying it. Oh, how many people are gonna get let go? People literally said that. So it's no shocker because that's business. That's your number one. Let's say you have the CEO of one company and then you get merged and you got the other CEO of another company. Unfortunately, maybe we don't need two CEOs. Maybe we just don't need that guy anymore because we're going to get our guy who was the COO. Now we're going to make him the CEO of your company. So we really don't need you. That is life and that's business. I'm sorry.
Can I please jump in? Can I please jump
No.
in? Because I
Please,
haven't
Ray,
been able to talk.
take the stage.
Thank you. All right, guys. In order to do these awesome games and to do these certain projects, you have to sometimes find the money somewhere. And if you come up with these games, if you have a game that you paid $1 million, but it got bombed on reviews and it did horrible, guess what happens? There's layoff, folks. Somebody has to, and it's usually, unfortunately, it's the people at the bottom, and they work their ways up. That's how it is. And let's be honest, there's been a lot of projects on a lot of companies that have done good, and there's been a lot of games that have done extremely bad and did not meet the marks. That is business. Okay, I'm done.
No,
And
it's
totally
right,
business is
but
gold
Yep.
because those shareholder
Agreed.
pockets have to grow year on year. And the world doesn't economically grow year on year. It has jumps and falls. That's how economy works, right? That's how everything works. Nothing can constantly flourish. But the world tries to. And because of that, we've seen the past couple of years the result. The past couple of years, there's been budget cuts left, right, and center. The nets have been tightening, as it were, and as those nets tighten, a lot of people have lost jobs. A lot of people who were once considered middle class are now struggling to pay wages. The economic landscape is shifting dramatically right now, and more regulations are coming into place to try and fix it. And more people are trying to donate money to try and fix it, but also more and more businesses are collecting more and more money. So it's a fine line that it's really hard to predict where it's going to go.
Will
There's
the
a lot of people
state
who've
of
got high
games
hopes.
sort of suffer because of the massive layoffs we saw last year and this year? We're starting to see sort of a trend pick up. In 5 years from now, are we going to see games sort of be at a worse state now because we've lost so many people in this?
Not necessarily.
Yeah,
I would- I
Or are
would
they going to be in a
like-
better state because there's less wasted money, so the money can go into more important places?
Yeah.
agree.
And
It's-
again,
it's-
they can
it's a
use
balance.
AI.
Rudigs, you have a very bright live service future ahead of you.
In my opinion,
Let's go, sir. Doctor, did you
certified.
want to say something on the topic?
yeah, I want to quickly say, I was gonna say, when it comes to Activision Blizzard, the track record over the last 10 years has actually been terrible. They've just been going in a downward spiral in terms of game quality, plus just company-wide like issues. So the way I look at this is it could be like saving money, like getting it, because obviously Microsoft's already a big company, so they probably have a bunch of guys that can already do the same jobs that people at Activision Blizzard had. So like they were probably already replaced. Save money this way. Also, I see it more on the lines of it's just like I feel like that company needs a giant change, and probably like starting fresh with a whole new group of people for the most part seems just like a better way forward. Just because Activision Blizzard is not the same company it was like before, I'd say 2012, 2000, like actually before
Yeah.
2016 exactly, before Overwatch came out.
Hmm.
So
And
Like,
Cowboy.
not all the same people
Cowboy.
transfer.
Maker of
Yes, sir.
Chaos isn't with us, but he's in the chat, and he says, in my opinion, I think scaling down the size of these games is inevitable. A lot of these games have been consistently increasing budget. That I think eventually it has to pop. It's got to
Correct.
stop. I think that's what he meant. But and that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, they're
not
spending at
sustainable.
least over on Sony's side $400 million on a title. That is a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
True.
And the movies are spending more and more each iteration as well. This is what I was hitting on. The whole world is trying to grow every year on year. We're trying to have this economic growth, which just isn't reasonable. That's not sustainable to constantly try and do that. Because at this point, it's cannibalizing from underneath, and that's creating instability in the whole structure of the thing. But time's only going to tell. The next decade is only going to tell how the game industry, how the whole world is going to be affected by how the economics are being played with by these bigger figureheads. It's
But
really
can I
hard
just
to tell right now.
But can I
Yeah,
add this,
go
guys?
in,
Back
Ray.
in the back in the late '90s, early 2000s, there was game companies that were closing down. This happens. This is nothing. This is nothing new. I had friends that were working at Lucas Games, man, and I remember when they all got fired. I remember when I had people that used to come in my store that worked at 98.9 Sports at Sony, and that's some of the first football, basketball games I used to play on my PS1. And guess what? They shut that down. I mean, it just it's sad, and my heart goes out to people. But unfortunately, that is the business.
Yeah,
That's the
business.
business.
You know, not to be jaded, but the perspective is, and I'm not gonna go to the whole story, but when I was working for a company for 20 years, and one day they was like, "Hey, man, this is your last day." I was like, "Oh wow!" They gave me a severance package, and guess what? I took it on the chin because guess what? It was they had to go to their bottom line, which was payroll. They had to, if they didn't let go all those people, the company itself would have went down. So it is what it is, and I moved on. That was years ago. That's 2019. I'm still here, got a different job, so
And that's
life,
what's happening
business.
now, right? The past couple of years, it's been a rough couple of years for a
You're
lot of
still
people,
the
but
king
it
of
doesn't mean that.
content.
There
Look
you
at that.
go. Yep. They couldn't stop me, baby.
Let me tell you, there's nothing you can do. I've been calling the office. Ray, this is your spending budget for your crew, but guess what? We gotta cut your budget. Two of you people gotta go. Otherwise, you gotta go. I'm like, okay, all right.
He's like, I wasn't
Yeah.
feeling good about firing somebody, but I'm on board now.
Well, that's how it
It's-
works, though, isn't it? That's how it works.
That-
And this isn't even a knock at you, Ray, but a lot of people in the world, feel like the most deserving ones are the ones who get took, who are the ones who lose their jobs, and the least deserving ones are the ones who get to keep their heads. It's this frustrating battle, but it's part of the sacrifice that we have to make. And again, that's a philosophy that you always hear in politics. Why do we have to make that sacrifice? Shouldn't it be the people who are millionaires or billionaires making the sacrifice? That's a whole other debate. But someone's got to make it. And right now the world is making that sacrifice. So in the next 5-10 years, we can have a better decade. That's what's
Well,
happening.
here's the benefit, though. Here's the benefit. Let's not cry for any of these companies. We can feel bad for the people that lost their jobs, but
Right.
they're qualified to find another, which is really good
Yes.
for them.
That's true.
Good
That's
point.
true.
That's
Good
very
point.
true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
I'm
And you've
going to
all heard me
move.
say a million times
I'm gonna-
recently, there's
sorry,
developer jobs
Wilson.
of the yin yang. I
I'm
was
gonna
just saying,
move
you've all
along.
heard me say. Oh, sorry. Yep.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna
just
move
wanted
it
to wrap
along
up.
from Microsoft. I got it.
I was halfway through my sentence and you were. But carry on. Move me over.
Man, I
Thank
wish
you.
we had video on. Your face is priceless.
Oh man.
Everyone here has grabbed onto a Stadia controller over the past 3 or 4 years. It was a happy memory, and what's happening here is I'm ending the show on a light mood, something we can all reminisce on, and that is, it looks like the Stadia controller has been reborn as a Nintendo Switch controller.
Nice.
So if you haven't seen this, we're seeing for sale now the exact same design, and it's looking to be marketed for the Nintendo Switch. Now, does anyone have any fond memories of the controller? Any
Yeah, I
thoughts
still
on?
use it.
Yeah.
I still
Oh
use
wow,
mine,
still use it? Does that who still
Yeah.
uses their Stadia controller on the panel?
Well, like if I play
still
on,
use
let's
mine.
say I play on my TV or I play on my phone, I like to use it because it's very comfortable. I really like it. It's just like now the batteries start dying quicker. So same as Cowboy there, I have the same controller and this one start
Sure.
dying on me.
Hey, listen.
I use mine as a headset. So what I do is I plug in
Oh.
my headset, this little wireless headset. I plug it into my Stadia controller, and I plug my Stadia controller into my computer. So when I'm streaming, like some of the shows, and I have the thing in my ear, it's plugged into my Stadia controller. So this thing still lives with me. It's not being used. And then also when I play xCloud, I use my Stadia controller. So when
Oh,
I was
yeah.
playing Palworld, I was using my Stadia controller. So
Nice.
Wow.
and I
when
plug it in. I don't
when-
do it wirelessly.
when I look at my because I am a founder, I was a Stadia founder like some of these guys in here, and I'm proud. I have no regrets. I'll have some old friends laugh at me. Ha ha! What was it? 2019 to 2023? I have no regrets whatsoever. I enjoyed it. I made a lot of friends, and yes, I still have my controllers. They're now Wi-Fi. I can use them with the Wi-Fi and everything, and Bluetooth. Some of them, and then there's one that I just plug in. I haven't changed it, but yeah, I'm happy. I love it. Love that they're doing that.
Yeah, man.
Come out.
Anyone out here or on the panel still using their Stadia controller? Doc, I know you're not using the Stadia controller.
Yeah, it's just been sitting there, but the thing I will give credit to it is whoever designed it at Google, very ergonomically comfortable. I've never felt another controller as comfortable as this one, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
It's just something about it. It's just nice in the hands.
Their
Has a
build
nice weight to
qualities.
it.
their
Build quality's off the charts.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is, because
exactly.
I have gorilla hands and I squeeze the controller like I'm
It's-
about to get into a car accident, and I break them a lot. I never
Yeah,
broke,
that's
I
what
never
happens
broke
with
a
me.
Stadia one.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
really
I
nice
broke a
thing,
bunch.
the really nice thing is I'm glad to see it's being repurposed for other things, so it's not just sitting around as e-waste. It's really nice to see something go from one thing to the other thing, so other people can now. Obviously, it's not a Stadia controller now, obviously, but it's the same thing basically. I'm glad
Yeah.
other people can now enjoy that same ergonomic feeling that we've all here enjoyed at one point in our lives.
Mhm.
So
Oh yeah.
One thing I would like to say is that the Stadia controller that I always use is the Founder Edition one, and my wife went through, I don't know, 3 Xbox Elite controller in a span of time. Yes, maybe she's like gripping harder or something, but like the Elite controller that what like 250 Canadian or something like that, they're not cheap. And she's been going through them like crazy, try to fix them every so now and then. She's like, "Can you look at it to fix it?" I'm like, "It's all internal issues." And funny enough, the Stadia controller, I never had any issue internally. Like the casing is so like well made, and the motherboard might be like fucking great in there. I don't know what Xbox is doing or Microsoft is doing with their controller. Maybe they try to make it way better. Maybe the Switch inside is way better. Who knows, right? So,
I think
but like,
isn't. Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, isn't actually David? You probably know because you've had one. Aren't those modular? Like you can mess with
Uh,
like the Xbox Elite controller.
No,
Yeah,
just
the
like
Elite
the
controller
paddle.
you can take out the D-pad and you can mess
That's
with the thumbsticks.
That's
Oh yeah.
yeah.
probably why, because I had a scuff controller at one point.
Uh-huh.
That was modular. Oh, that didn't last so long because
Oh
that just
yeah.
gets dust and anything inside of there gets on the board, and that doesn't usually end well.
And
Yeah.
how about I was using my Stadia controllers for over 2 years, and my PlayStation 5 controllers I was using for less than a year, and both of them got stick drift. My Stadia controller
Yeah.
never got stick drift.
Yes,
Oh.
that's
Dang.
right.
It's good build quality.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
I want
that's
to
just
thank
it.
everyone for coming out, hanging out on the download for episode 2. I really do appreciate it. It's been awesome to chat about what's going on in gaming this week. I'm going to go down the list and check out what everybody's doing on their channels this week because, yes, we're all content creators over here. Callie, what's going on? I'm starting at you at the top. What are you up to this
Um,
week? Tell people what's going on.
this Thursday, you guys can check out my YouTube. I'll be doing a Boosteroid stream on Thursday at 10 in the morning, but I don't know what game yet. So just keep an eye out on my Twitter and YouTube. Thanks for letting me be on here.
Awesome, dude. Doc, you may not be a streamer, but just want to give yourself a shout out. What's going on your end?
Well, nothing much, just happy to be here. Thanks for letting me come on. Hopefully be trying to hang out in the Cyborg City with you guys occasionally. So, that's all I can say.
Well, appreciate your input. Always hold it in high value. So thanks for coming on.
Of course.
What's up, cowboy?
Yeah, thanks, man. I gotta go back in 2 minutes, but man, I just want to say thank you. Forget me. Thank you for having us all on here, man. Your growth as a content creator is just amazing. I love what you've been doing from the moment you came on the scene. I told you in the beginning you were so polished. You were perfect for this, and thank you again for having me. Thank you for having all of us. I think you're gonna have a bright future when it comes to doing this, man. And number one, you love it, you enjoy it, but you do it as if you're a professional. So I just want to thank you, and I'm looking forward to more Rude Digs in 2024. So thank you for having me.
Appreciate that, dude. Those kind words mean a lot. Take care.
All right, later.
And we'll catch you over on the Cowboy King of Entertainment channel. During the week, he is hosting talk shows at 6 p.m. Eastern, so be sure to catch him over there. And DW, Blaze v. Pimpson, what's been going on in the Wilson world? Where can we
Oh,
find
not
you?
a lot. You know me. I am not a content creator. I'm just hanging out in Cyborg City with all of you wonderful folk. But I jump on the odd show with yous. But just check out all of you guys. There's Ray, there's Nads, there's Callie, there's SPG, there's Rue, and all of them are found on Cloud&Console from time to time. So check it all out. Wonderful folks. And
Oh,
thank you
thank
for
you.
having me.
Yes, the link to the Discord is in the
Oh,
description.
can I shout out one thing? I'm going to shout out one thing, and that is Bjorn's charity event next month. I believe it starts on the 23rd and will last over the period of 3 days. But he's going to do a charity event again. It is his annual charity event raising money for mental health awareness. So there a bunch of streamers that you know, a bunch of streamers that you don't know are going to be all taken apart, and it's all going to be for a good cause. So make sure you follow along. If you're a streamer, please sign up. There's going to be games given away. There's going to be codes given away. All sorts of that type of good stuff. So yeah, check it out.
Thank you, David. Nuds, what's going on?
Well, you know me. Usually I'll be hanging around with you on Cloud&Console. But yeah, like every Thursday we got Baldur's Gate. If you haven't seen that last night, go check it out. We were playing Baldur's Gate with SPG. A lot of fun, a lot of weird stuff happening with ogres. But go check it out. It's always great to play this game and be in a group. And also we have some more like streaming happening during the week. Like just check out our channel. Every so now and then I'll be jumping in. You'll see my face. It's not gonna be always Rudig's, but like he's mostly the man running the show.
All right, awesome. And we also got Cloud&Console, our gaming podcast where we
Yes.
talk everything cloud gaming. The podcast that started it all, Sunday at 10 p.m. So be sure to catch us there. And SPG,
Yeah.
what's been going on? Where can we
What's
find
up,
you?
guys? Here in an hour, I'm going to be playing some Among Us. So if you'd like to join into some skullduggery, some lion, or just airlock Ray for good measure, right out of the damn space station, you're welcome to
Yes.
join us. Come by, hang out, have a laugh. That's about it, man. That's all I got cracking.
All right, awesome. Well, I am going to pull out of Cyborg City, do the draw, and talk to everybody later. Thanks for joining. You guys are awesome.
Thanks, Rudig's.
Thanks
See
for having
ya.
us, buddy.
Thanks, Rue.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's get the draw going. Who's going to win today? Thanks, everybody, for hanging out on episode 2. We're spinning the wheel, and we're going to see who wins. Oh, it's coming up. It's Wibble. Wibble, congratulations. Your name will be entered for the draw on February 7th for Helldivers 2. Thanks, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us here on the download. I am going to drop the credits. Take care and be kind.
Grove. 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 Why try to believe in me? Why try do I even need to? I die with the season leaves. I glide with the season breeze. True, my mind so easily spooked. I ride just to be the me. Oh, finds hype super decently smooth. Nice type, but as sick as me.